All right, welcome back to another homework stream. We are doing more HTML, CSS, JavaScript. We will be going, so my personal website project is one of the big projects for the bootcamp, and that will be a portfolio webpage of some of my game demos. So I'll be able to stream some of the development for my personal website project. So it'll be homework, but it'll be game dev stuff. And then I can show how I'm getting my games to work running on my website. So that will be kind of cool. It won't be for another couple weeks. We've got the capstone project, and we're still learning a couple more things before the PWP stuff really takes off. But I made some mock-ups. Actually, yeah, I can show the mock-ups here. I'll just snag. I will snag it so I can show you. Here we go. So if we go here, we go to my web deployment for my last milestone. This was homework yesterday. I had to build out basically like what the personal website project was going to be, and then make a little mock-up for the desktop version. So there's a little mock-up I made here. So like, playable game demos here, and then little, descriptions, and then all my tags for my GitHub portfolio, my real website, and then my LinkedIn. And then I made little mobile mock-ups as well for what the website's going to end up looking like on mobile, which I think is a big, this has been really helpful to kind of just mock it up before I dive into building it, so I know what I'm building. The big thing is I'm going to have multiple demos on the page, and I run into issues with Safari loading more than one game at a time. And what's weird is it'll work the first time. It'll work, I'll be able to play all the demos, but then if I refresh the page, the second demo, no matter what order you try them, the second demo crashes until you refresh the page again. And then from then on out in Safari, every time you refresh, only the first game works. So I'm hoping I can either figure that out, or that it isn't an issue by the time I implement it in the real website. I'm not exactly sure what causes that. But considering today's homework, I started this last stream on Tuesday here. I've got the first 2 of 4 problems done. The first one was to be able to manipulate the font text via JavaScript events. So I've got, right now I've got these 5 different fonts that are working on mobile and desktop to switch the fonts. And then the second problem was to highlight a name. So here I've got a little drop-down box. We can select which name to highlight, and we highlight whatever name you actually select. Now, I'm kind of doing this in I won't say like cheater way, but it's like a manual way. So like the only way I was highlighting this was by putting this name Galadriel inside of a HTML tag called highlightable or whatever, giving that tag an ID, and then once I click Galadriel, I'm setting the contents of the inner HTML with that matching ID to have a background color. And then we have to flesh the background color for every other name we select, so that only one name is highlighted. But coming up, like what we're going to be struggling on today is this find and replace a word. So right now it's just a p tag of some Lord of the Rings ipsum. And ideally we're going to have a little form here where you can type in one name. You can type in a text to find, and hopefully it would highlight all the instances of it. And then you would be able to type in a word to replace it, and then hitting a button replace would actually replace the text. So that is like super involved as far as I'm concerned, because I was having a difficult time getting the highlighting to work, but we need to actually replace words within the p tag itself. So I've got a couple ideas how we're going to go about it. Probably not going to be pretty because I'm not so great at HTML at the moment, but I'm getting better with JavaScript. So we'll just have to see how we do. I've got JavaScript Event Challenge Homework as the title for the stream. That's what's going on. So I think we're good to get started here. Okay. I was trying to think of a joke for the pretty, but I got nothing. I was going to say like you're talking to ChatGPT instead of me or something. Okay, so here, this is what I was talking about with the highlighter. So I've got this tag in HTML, right? So like here is that highlighted text p tag, and in here I've got these HTML tags called word segmenter, and what that does is a word segmenter has a unique class. And what's in there is the name, which is manual. And actually, now that I look at it, this exclamation mark should be outside of the word segmenter. Yeah, let me see. Let me make sure that's looking right. Yeah. So the highlighter, we were highlighting this exclamation mark before I did that, and now it's not. So that's accurate. So what we're going to have to do is similar to this, like we have to modify the inner HTML of a p tag, but instead of modifying it with a class that changes the highlighting, we need to modify it with we basically need to find and replace a given word. So it's like the current kind of pseudocode idea is like we'll cycle through the p tag, get all the words in an array, and then we have to ask for what text we're trying to replace. So once we have a form that is giving us a value of a text, we're going to be searching through our array, checking for equality in the array, and then we need to know what we replace it with as well. And then anytime, what's up, Katron? We're working on some tricky HTML stuff today again for homework, and this is my away from screen time because we are supposed to have away from screen time. So I'm on Twitch instead of looking at screens all day. You know, just trying to freshen up a little. Yeah. We're going to be, so like we have to write JavaScript to find and replace a word in HTML. So it's like we've got right here, we've got these highlighting, but we need to be able to find and replace a word in a given p tag using JavaScript events. So that is what we're working on today, and it is going to be tough, but I've got a better idea of how to do it now than I did yesterday. So this right side here is the JavaScript, left side is the index HTML. So I think first order of operations is we need to be able to define a word that we need to replace and what we need to replace it with. So I feel like we need two forms. I'm not quite remembering how to do this, like form, it's like a text input that we need. And I can't remember. I think we just need I don't know if it's a form. I feel like it's just an input inside of a form. So the input type is text for sure. Does that give us anything on screen here? It does. So we have an input field to search for a word, but right now just hitting enter does nothing. So we can give it a placeholder, and we can say the placeholder is find text. So now we've got find text. So hopefully when we type in something like fellowship or whatever, I don't think I'm going to worry about case sensitive stuff because that's just like a lot, but maybe I can say type text let's leave it as find text and then replace text. So we'll add another input, and that is another of type text, because we need to just be able to replace it to another type of text. So like ideally we'd be able to say like take fellowship and change it to gang or whatever we want. This needs to be inside the input tag, and we'll also give this one a placeholder, and the placeholder will be replace. Okay. Now inputs actually don't need the closing tag, so that should be good. So we've got find text and replace text. So like ideally we would say fellowship and then gang or whatever we want to replace it with. And then when we hit submit, we would make a button or something that says replace. Hopefully it would modify our p tag to actually have the other words. So we need a button. Now I don't know if this form is necessary. Form, let me look up what HTML forms actually do. Yeah. To create a form input. Okay, so I guess we do need form in order to have our inputs work. I'm curious if we try to put a input outside of a form, if it would allow us. It does. So I don't know why. Like it's just a suggested thing to put it in a form, I guess. I don't know. Okay, so we've got an input type of text. We don't have... We could make little labels for it. We should probably do that as a sort of conventional thing. So in our input, you have to give it a ID so that your label can apply to the form. It's a little weird to me that the label's under the input. I guess the radio input might be a little different than the text input, but what we'll do is we'll make sure each of our inputs have an ID, and we'll make sure each label is for that given ID, and then we give it a text to put there. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll make sure each of these have an ID, and we will say input. We will say ID gets text find, camel case, and we'll say ID text replace. So that is the ID for these input forms. Replace. Well, how you've been doing, Ktronics? It's been a while since I've been able to hang out with you. Been up to anything new lately? Okay. Then the weird thing is the label tag has the closing tag as well, but now we can actually put the correct label in here. And we can say find. This will be the ID for the text replace form. And then this will say replace, and I just want to see where it places that text. Okay. Yeah, you know, we do need to turn off the Firefox autocomplete because it didn't clear this. So we'll make sure we'll give this input a nice. Yeah, how did your last semester go? You passed everything and that went well, I'm assuming? I think it's just autocomplete gets off. let's see. Hopefully that clears out. Yes, okay. Yeah, you know, I don't think I like the labels. Nice. Hey, congrats, dude. So are you on your last semester then now? Or your last, I don't remember if you mentioned how far in you were. 2 more semesters, okay. Or 2 more classes. Okay, so we'll need, I'll want to stack these. I'll want to stack these and then add a button that says like actually replace. And upon that button being pressed, we need to save and pass our JavaScript some values. We need the text we need to search for and remove, and then actually just replace it with the text. Cool, dude. You'll be done with it in no time. Oh, man. That doesn't sound fun. Now, I can't tell. I think we just need to add a break after our find. So that they're stacked. Okay. I don't like the unevenness here. But I don't really think I want to... I don't know. It's bugging me that these don't align, but if we shrink it down to like mobile or whatever, they're going to be different sizes anyway. So if we hard code something that looks good here, when we shrink it down to mobile, well, yeah, I don't know what we can do. We can either add spaces after find so that the find text starts at the same spot. That's probably what we'll do, and then add a little button. Yeah, let's try that. So I wonder if we add... Can we add spaces like that in HTML? Will it? It won't recognize it. Can we do a \tab? No. Like if we do a space dot, that doesn't do it either. Okay. Nice. Do you have family in Oregon, or you just like it out there? Yeah, the spaces don't really work. Nice. I shot a little movie out in Oregon and up the Pacific Coast Highway, and that was actually really cool. Yeah. How do you add space in HTML? Oh, you can add, well, to force visible spaces. Little stuff like this makes me feel so silly in HTML, like I don't know what I'm trying to do here. I think I'll worry about this later because it's just a little nonsensical thing. Okay, yeah. I have never been to Montana. I don't really know much about it, but it sounds like the climate isn't that great. Okay, so we need a button. We need a button. And I don't know if the button can... We're looking for like... a button that's actually tied to the text values. This is tricky. What? Type submit? I think that's what we're looking for. We want to type submit. Yeah. Yeah, well, here in Albuquerque is kind of like similar, where it'll be freezing in the morning and then windy in the afternoon and then perfectly sunny and warm in the evening, or whatever you want to call it. We get wild variations too. But the cold here isn't that cold, and the hot here isn't crazy hot either, so it's kind of good balance. Okay, so submit. Ideally, this submit, maybe we say this instead of submit, it's replace words. Just live in a igloo. Be pretty consistent. You know, you live in a jacket, but it's pretty consistent. Replace words. Okay. So ideally, clicking this button does nothing if you don't have typed anything in there. And ideally, it also does nothing if the text can't be found. But I'm not exactly sure how to prevent the submit from, I don't know, maybe that's okay to have it reset. I don't know. I feel like I am going above and beyond in this homework anyway. So I don't think we need to worry about all the little implementation details. We just need it to get it working. If you play nice and that's good enough, we can worry about handling input once we're better at programming in general for JavaScript. So we have to be able to take the value from this submit action. Now, I'm not sure how do you pull the input? Like once this submit button is clicked, how do we get the values that are in our input fields? I can, and you know what? There's a, I've done for my GitHub, I've got a little bit of JavaScript interactivity on my website. Maybe we just take a little peek here at what I did in my JavaScript. That's not the JavaScript we want. We want all files. It's maybe easier to just pull it up here. Okay, so we're looking for our whatever it is, script.js, I guess. Where is that? I don't exactly know. Let me just see what is in our interactive art. No, it's in our programming page. It looks like we should have a script here. It might be, oh, we're doing the Bootstrap CDN. Yeah. See, that's probably why my Prism.js, that is for the syntax highlighting, but we actually have input. I just see input. On key press return. Okay, well, I do not know enough about JavaScript to make this smooth. If we take a look at our programming page, we have this event listener, query selector. This is all the JavaScript. Okay, so see, this is all inline JavaScript, which we're not allowed to do for our homework submission, but I'm just trying to see what the hell I did. We're using the query selector. So this is like, this hashtag means it is a ID. So the file size I is the ID, but I'm not seeing where we set that ID. ID here. So yeah, where is this check? Oh God. What's crazy, it's like I wrote this code and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? All this inline CSS. So look, we've got, if we take a look at the site, it says hours, minutes, seconds, and you can do this, add whatever, and then add in how many megabytes it is, and then you hit the button and it calculates and populates a div here. So what I'm trying to do is, when we click this button, how is it snagging all the values for our forms? So we have to find what our forms are, which hours, minutes. So it's an input with a label. It's got an ID. So where's the button we have? We've got this button that we're using Bootstrap for, but then how are we saying on key press, return is numeric event? I don't think I wrote that. I don't think. Yeah, right here. I didn't write this is numeric. I did not write that. Okay, so I think what happens is when this is pressed, when this submit is pressed, it kind of locks in the value that was given to these inputs. Now it knows the value is a type of text for both of them. So I think I don't know if we can add an on-click function to here, but we can say on-click. We want to say print inputs, and it's a function. So now we need to define this print inputs in our JavaScript, and I think we can say, just function print inputs, and we should be able to, we're trying to get the values of these things. So we've got an ID for both of them. So I think if we do our document dot get elements by ID, and we give it the ID of text find, that as long as we say the dot value, because that's what we actually put in the form, we're going to say let result equal the dot value of here, and then we want to, I think what we can do just to test it out, we can give ourselves a p tag, and this p tag has an ID that is equal to result ID. I'm just giving it a random ass name because what we're trying to do is insert HTML in here. So see, like if we type in input value, then we should be able to see this is hopefully where it's going to spit out the two values that I'm inputting here. And if we can see them there, then we know that our dot value is the right way to go about this. But we don't want to put input value. We want to replace this p tag's ID. We want to replace that inner text with this value. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna let answer p is just the answer p tag that I want to test this stuff in, and I'm gonna select it by our document.getElement by ID, and we give it the ID of our result ID. We should probably call it result ID instead of answer p. Let's do that. Result ID gets the result ID element. Cool. Now what we want to do is we want to put our result, which is the value, we want to put that result inside the inner text. So what we should be able to do is say result ID now gets an inner text that gets assigned to be our result. Now we are defining the function here, and then we are, this is what we need right there. Cool. So once the button is clicked, it should run this print input function, which goes ahead and grabs the value from only the text find, and it puts it into the inner text of this p tag right below it. So let's see if that works. So we'll say like blah, and then hit replace words, and I don't see blah. It looks like it refreshed everything. Yeah, it refreshed everything. So it's almost like, I don't know if I think I'm misunderstanding. Hey, Holden, don't go sharing that. You gotta hoard that. Yeah, Holden, you gotta hold on to that. Don't be just offering that out. Yeah, this isn't so right. It's like we need. I'm misunderstanding how the submit is working. Oh, on submit. I think you gotta do on submit, right? On submit, run that print input. I can't tell if it appeared there for like 1/2 second and then disappeared. Damn it. This is a hard assignment. Let's see what ChatGPT has to say. How do I retrieve values from an text input in HTML within our JavaScript? Yeah, get element by ID. See, look at this button on click, get value. This, instead of this on submit, they give themselves a button. And then they're doing what we're doing, which is the get value, and then they're actually just console logging it, but we're trying to see it in our page. So If we do something similar to this, we just do a type button, type text, the input, enter something, on click of a get value button. Okay, so let's do a button instead of the submit and see if that helps us. So instead of this input, it is actually going to be a button, and the button is going to have, what do they do? On click, and then it just needs a value. So like, what if we just say like, we just say button, what does that look like? It is just a button. Cool. So we're gonna say on click for this button. We're gonna give it this function call of our print input. And then it should run. And what that is doing is putting the value of our text find field and putting it into the inner text of the p tag right below the button. So hopefully we'll be able to type in Molten Rocks. And then we say button. Oh, did you? I saw it for 1 second. I saw it and then it refreshed. So like, how do we prevent it's like we don't want to refresh the page. We want to prevent default for our event. What the fuck? Event. How do you pass in? You pass in the event in the onClick function, and then you could prevent default. If we add in an event parameter, call it event, we add it to our JavaScript, then we should be able to call prevent default function so it doesn't refresh, according to ChatGPT. So we say event, we give it event, and then we say, by the way, prevent default. Is that really what works? So we say Holden rules. Oh my god. Holden really rules. It says it right here. Holden eats so much sauce he becomes a chicken. Oh my gosh. Holden eats so much sauce it becomes a chicken. Okay. This proves that we have the value that we put in here. So this value is what we're going to be checking each of these words. And if they're equal to these words, then we're going to replace it with whatever value. So let's make sure we have access to the replaced value, much like our... Wait, what is this saying? Event. Consult docs for better alternative. ChatGPT was my docs, and he actually worked. Now, how do you prevent default? JavaScript prevent default for button. Event. What the fuck? It all looks like you have to give it an event, so I don't know what WebStorm is yelling at me for. It says deprecated symbol used. Var event. What do we call it? Event capital? And now you're not mad? Yeah, he was just mad it was lowercase, I guess. Holden rules. Okay, cool. Let's try to get our replace text as well. So print input will not only replace the inner text. Okay, so what we have to do is give ourselves another thing here. So we can say, we can change this to become find input and replace input. Okay, those are our IDs. Now here in the ID, we want to do text find, and we want to put that in the find input. Okay, I'm just gonna make sure that that still works. We can say hello, button, didn't work. We are not doing our what did we do? We're preventing the default. On click print input. What did we do wrong? We're going to get the text find value right here. And then we're going to put it in a result ID. Result gets into the inner text. So what's going on? It's refreshing the page again. Why is it refreshing the page again? We're doing the prevent default. Did we screw something up? Before we add this second p tag, it was result ID. And then here, event. That should be right. Okay, I have a feeling our capital E is now screwing us again. Okay. I don't know what it wants from me. Dispatch event. It works, but WebStorm is kind of just telling me whatever. I don't know if I should worry about that or just try to get it to work. That's maybe a instructor question. Because we don't want the page to refresh, we just want to modify our JavaScript. Like, that's kind of the whole point of trying to do these JavaScript events, so we don't have to reload the page. We just do it interactively. So what we will do is give ourselves another ID. This will actually be find input, and this will be replace input. Okay, so our function now puts it into find input. It should be the same functionality, just with a different name. And cool. So now we have a space to put in what our replace value is. So let's make sure we're doing that right. So we'll actually put, this will be find result, and then we will put, this is getting confusing, find result. Okay, that should be the same. So what we want to do is something very similar, but we want to put our replace result from our replace from our text replace input. We're putting the value from our text replace form inside of this variable called replace result. And then we have, instead of result ID, this is a bad name. What do we call this? We can just call the find result ID. I don't know. Find result ID. What? Find result. What the fuck did I just do? Now I'm in the mood for some Chick-fil-A. Okay. Find result ID. Okay, so we need our replace result to go into our replace result ID. And that is not a find input, but that is a replace input. And then we want to modify the replace result ID inner text. So this get element by ID replace input, that's right here, this second p tag, we're trying to fill with the right value of our result that we're getting from accessing the value of that form. So we just need to put our replace result into the inner text there, and then we should be able to see it. So we've got a replace result. Let's give it a shot. If we type in Holden Drools, we get Holden Drools. And then if we put also JK, he rules, we aren't getting that second p tag. So replace input. It looks like we're doing it right. Replace result. Definitely looks like we're doing it right. Let me try if we do it both at the same time. A, B, B, B. Okay. So it did work that time, but if we put in a different thing... Oh. I guess it is just working. Okay. Okay, cool. So now we have the two values we need to start solving this problem. We've got the text we need to find and the text we need to change it to. So what we need to do is once... She snuck in some Twitch chat. Okay. So the next thing we got to do is we got to pull from the p tag all of this text, hopefully pull every single word into an array, and then we can loop through the array and say, hey, is every element equal to the find? And it'll loop through until it equals the find, and once it equals the find, we will actually take that array's element and change it to our replace value, and then insert it back into the p tag here so we can see the changes. So, for example, if it's R and we want to replace it with aren't, we would hit this button. It would cycle through every element of this array. So it says, is U equal to R? No. Then it'd go to the next one. Is R equal to R? Yes. Okay, replace it with aren't. And then it would place it with aren't in there. So something like that, I think. So we have to pull out this array here. So I think we could add it to this print input, and actually we probably will have to, because once the button's pressed, that's when we want it to be replaced. So we need to start doing some more stuff here in our print input function. We might rename it too, but let's give us an array. Let's call it array result or something. we'll say, hey, we've got this array result. We're not using it anywhere at the moment, but we want to copy into it all of these texts. So how do we do that? How do we pull in? We would need to give this an ID, right? So the ID, it would be called replace paragraph or something. It's called a paragraph to replace. I don't know, paragraph replace is the ID. So what we're going to do is say, we're going to go to our document. We're going to go to our get element by ID, and the ID is the paragraph replace. Now we have access to that element. Now we need to store that element somewhere. We'll say that it is just called paragraph, and we're assigning it to be equal to that element ID. And then what we can do is at least console.log our paragraph. And then we aren't doing this at the moment. We can let that out. Okay, let's just see if we get this element back in our console log. So what we'll do is we'll refresh, pull up our dev tools. We will say test, hit the button. It looks like we get back our element of paragraph replace. So we need these in an array separated by words. So how do we do that? Like how do we in JavaScript convert element into array of text? Query selector? No. Array from? No. I don't think we want to do this. I think we want to see, is it element dot split? So text, and we can split, let text get the string. So the inner HTML we can treat as this, and then we run a split on it and put it in my array. And we split it with space. Split the characters including spaces. Oh, so where we want to split it at, every space is a new word, so we can search that. It gets a little, oh god, it gets tricky because the space could mean there could be a question mark after the word, but that's not how we're splitting it. Oh shit. I wonder if we can give it a couple different split options and split on different punctuation. Let's see. Can you array dot split for all punctuations? That's a really tough aspect of it. Oh, maybe not. What the? I don't want to mess with that. Okay. So look, instead of pulling out the element, let's pull out the inner HTML. And then what we will do is we will say, let our array result. We set it to an empty array first, and then we're going to set our array result equal to our paragraph, which is inner HTML, and we run split on that with a space. So hopefully when we console log out our array result, we should see an array of all the words with punctuation at the end, because it doesn't include the spaces, or it doesn't include the punctuation. Let me see. Let's just click it. Oh, see, that is not what I was expecting. It does give us, there's like a bunch of spaces here. See, this is what I'm saying. Like if we're checking, see how there's a new line here instead. We put in a new line that screws up. Oh, weird. All of these punctuations screw up our word replace because taste won't be equal to taste new line, so it wouldn't replace that. So we need to do better. Let's see, and then there's hidden values in here too. There was a hidden new line there. And you know what we'll do? We'll just turn on the soft wrap function in WebStorm here so that we don't have to have at least those spaces. So let's do our soft wrap. Okay, let's try that again and see if we get any of those weird things again. We're gonna hit the button. We still get those new lines. That's a lot cleaner. It's a lot cleaner. Oh, we want to check if it's a character. God, yeah, we don't. This needs to not be a word. We're trying to just get the word. So if it's a character of a alphanumeric, go ahead, split on. Oh fuck! How do we do this? And look at all these invisible things. Why are there invisible things there? Okay, let's see if ChatGPT has got a better solution than this. So I used dot split to separate words via space argument in dot split. How can I achieve a result of only alphanumeric words in this array? Regular expression to test if the word contains only alphanumeric characters. So it's doing a test. God damn it. This isn't really what I want. See, because what this is doing, it's like, okay, this has already got an array. We're splitting it from we've got the inner HTML, so all the text. Then we're going to be splitting it. I feel like there might be, like, if we add, can we add more things in here? Like also question mark? I'm kind of curious if we can do that. It looks like it broke it there. Separator and then limit. Okay, so it's two different arguments there. Let's see. Because if our ipsum was as simple as just words and no periods and stuff, this would work. Ideally, it works with a question mark or an exclamation point. It's really tough. Really tough. So if we leave it the split by a space there, then when we click this button, why is it doing this? So see, ideally, this array that we're looking at is only words and not a comma, because we're going to be checking if they give it find surprises, it'll be comparing surprises to surprises with a comma at the end, and those won't be equal, so it won't be replaced when it should be. So how do we omit? Is there a way to strip out every character in an array that is a space or a period or exclamation? Let's see if there is a dot element dot strip or something. Maybe not. Element remove. Okay, that's not what I'm looking for. So like, I have an array of strings with punctuation. How do I remove the punctuation? You can do replace. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, all you gotta do is put this junk in. It's like, what the hell does that mean? What this junk is. You know, yeah. All you gotta do is fucking char match up that fucking thing. It's like if I can't wrap my head around what the hell it's asking, like I can't use it as my homework, you know? Like they encourage us to do chat GPT to figure out solutions, but let's just go easy. Like, how do I strip out commas from an array of text or array of strings? I don't mind if I have to say strip all the commas, strip all the periods. I just... Okay. Array of strings with commas inside it. Now, what we can do... What the hell is this? Stripped strings is an array. Let's see what the hell. We're doing a for in. I don't like this. We do for of loops. I don't know if we've... What the... I don't want a freaking library. Not in Python. Okay. What the hell? So you can .map with an arrow function and replace any comma globally with an empty thing. Okay. I think that's ugly. I think it's disgusting. But I think it might work. Okay, so if we've got this array of strings, which we do, and it's got commas in there, they're saying you can use the replace function, and the first argument is what you want it to replace. So it's like, I don't know why you have to do a /. I think it's to replace every comma in the thing. So it's like saying, I'm going to follow this with what I want to replace. I want to replace a comma. And then I say another /, do it for every comma in there, and replace it with an empty, a nothing. So let's try it. Let's try it. So if we look right now, see how we've got commas in there? We've got commas for surprises. So what we're trying to do, and let's just, I want to see, I'm going to pull this ChatGPT up on my other monitor here so I can refer to it. What we're trying to do is remove this. So once this is split, we need to remove the weird shit from it. So what we're going to say is we're going to say let stripped strings equal our array of strings, which is our paragraph. So we're going to say our paragraph. We're going to map through, and this is very complicated since I'm new to JavaScript, because it's like the map will cycle through all the elements, and then we're using a arrow function here to kind of do some cheater way to like say, hey, all the elements that we're iterating through are going to be called string, and every element in that array we're going to want to run the replace function on, and we're going to give it a comma and that thing, and we're going to replace it with a string like that, an empty string. And then instead of printing out that result, we're going to do our stripped strings to our console log. Now array result, this is what we want our array result actually here. Okay, so hopefully this would strip the comma out of the array. So if we save our work here and we click our button, hopefully surprises doesn't have a comma, so that works. So we need to go ahead and replace, it's like we need to replace any period with empty space, any exclamation mark with the empty space, any question mark with an empty space. That's a tricky one. I might take that out of the example, because if Boromir is typed, shit, man, that's tough. Okay, but we know we need to get periods, question marks, exclamation marks, and then apostrophes are just a little bit of a bitch. Because let's say you just want to replace Bilbo, you can't replace just Bilbo, because Bilbo doesn't exist. It's only Bilbo's. So even though Bilbo exists in Bilbo's, you couldn't replace it because of the way we're doing it. I don't like that. I don't like it. Sam I am. But, and I don't like this either, where it's like, we're doing a function, an arrow function here. This is messy. This is real messy. I don't like it at all. There's got to be a better way. Let's just see if it works. We'll see if it works. It's messy as shit though, because what we're trying to do is like now. Undo. Redo. That should be result. Yeah. Okay. So we take this. Now we're going to reassign stripped strings to be equal to our stripped strings. This is so gross. But if it works, it works, okay? Let's try exclamation mark. We're going to do the same thing, try to replace exclamation mark. We're putting in the same variable. Let's see. We're going to refresh, hit the thing. We should hopefully see no exclamation mark at the end here. I see a question mark. I see a period. So we got to get rid of new line. We got to get rid of period. So let's do this again, and we'll say replace our period, and then also replace our question mark. And then we also want to replace a new line, which is a backslash n. Backslash n. Okay. Let's try that. Oops, nothing to repeat. What? I have a feeling it's this one. Oh, I think this needs an escape character. Because question mark does stuff in JavaScript. Okay. Oh no. It's not it. That ain't it. Do we need a forward slash? Nope. What the how do you replace this? My quantifier is dangling, everybody. Yeah, so class is remote on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and we get an hour-long lunch break each day. But then on remote days, we get an extra hour for away from screen time. So this has been my away from screen time, and I've got to go back to class in 15 minutes here. But yeah, my qualifier's dangling. Why can't... I don't get how... I would think that you could do the escape character. Away from screen time is like dedicated away from screen time so that you can like rest your eyes and reset your body and stuff. So my away from screen time is here on Twitch. It's technically 3 screens I'm looking at. So I'm away from my phone screen time. So it's my away from phone screen time. Yeah, I do kind of feel guilty. I mean, like, yeah, I would like to go on a run and stuff. But for my, like, mental health and stuff, streaming is more important than... like, streaming is helping my mental emotions better than exercise would, because I really miss streaming. So okay, well, I don't know how to escape character for a backslash n, a question mark, or a period. Yeah, dude, hit it up. It feels good. Wow, okay. Period just wipes it. All but new line period wipes it. So let's go to our chat Jippity and we'll see. Where is it? Strip out periods from an array of strings in JavaScript. It's going to tell me that nasty stuff again. Well, no. Oh, yeah, \period. So you need the escape character, but that wasn't working for our question mark. So I wonder what it has to say for question mark if that isn't working. So if we do our / escape character, let's try that. And we'll see. Did that work? Looks like that stripped out periods. So how about question mark? We want to do the '(s) as well. We do want to do the '(s). See, look, it's saying just a / question mark, which is what I tried. But maybe now that our period is working, it won't crash there. Okay, so that does work. Cool. See how we're getting closer and closer to just words in here. We just want the words, and we want to exclude both a new line and the '(s). So what we'll do is we'll make sure we can do this and say, okay, we want to replace any \n. Hey, Art with Brenda. It's going good. We're working on some homework today. I'm trying to do a find and replace function in our HTML. So right now we're just parsing through an array of strings, trying to clean up things like this new line character. And we're using the help of ChatGPT to help us a bit. Yeah, I will not tell you in detail because I don't know. But I'll tell you what we're trying to look for is this \n. And if we put a \n in here, hopefully \n is out of our development environment. Now that we click this button, we're looking for, there used to be a \n there and now it is not. So that's a success. Now we just need our '(s) taken out. This is horribly ugly. I am not proud of it. I want to maybe run this array map. I want to run this replace function multiple times in one array map instead of doing it 6 freaking times. So I would rather that be possible. But we're looking for just an array of words, no punctuation. And it looks like we might have done it. There's no '(s) anymore. This one is messed up. I might change that in the HTML so that you don't have to do that. But other than that, we can now compare our two values here. Like, let's say we've got, let's say we're trying to replace Bilbo with Brenda. We can hit this button. We have these values. We're trying to replace Bilbo with Brenda. Now that we've got this array of all the words that are here, all the words here are now in an array. We can compare our find value. So now we're going to ask every array, hey, is this Bilbo? Is this Bilbo? Is this Bilbo? Is this Bilbo? And then by the time it actually gets to Bilbo, which is where? Once it hits here, hey, is Bilbo equal to Bilbo? Yeah, it is. Okay, then replace that string with Brenda. And then it'll change this to Brenda. And then we need to say, hey, join together this array of strings back into a whole HTML of strings and present that here instead of this. And hopefully the Bilbo that is in here, the 69th word or whatever, will turn into Brenda if we do this correct. Because right now we've got this one that is like we can highlight words. And then we've got this where we can like change the font. But the third part of the homework is to do a find and replace here. So now that we've got this array of words, we can now cycle through this array and compare these values that we're already printing, and then hopefully change those values to whatever the replace value is. And then if they don't give a value here, it won't replace with anything. So we might have to do some checks there. Yeah, so normally this channel is a game development channel. I'm just in computer bootcamp right now, so I don't have time to do game development stuff and get my homework done, so that's why I'm doing my homework on stream during my break. But my class starts up in 5 minutes at 1 here, so I'm gonna call it a day for the stream. We'll probably just do a git commit here. If we do a git status, we'll see we modified this. We can say I do programming streams on the channel, so I don't play games on the channel. I make games. The only difference is right now I'm in class doing web development stuff. So I've been pivoting to web dev stuff just so that I can actually stream, because I don't have enough time to work on game dev stuff with all my homework, because it is a 10-week intensive boot camp. Hey, you too, Katron. Thanks for hanging out, dude. I appreciate you. I hope you have a good rest of the day. Thanks for chatting. Yeah, so I normally, when I'm not in school, I streamed every day at 7. But now, since I've got so much school, I've been taking it easy, and I just squeeze in a stream when I can, now that I've got so much homework and stuff. But there is a project where I need to do some video game development stuff for school, so I'll be streaming that so that I can get back to streaming game dev stuff and web dev stuff all in one. So I'll be doing that more so in the next 2 weeks, 2 and 3 weeks. I'll be doing more of that game dev stuff for my website. But we're gonna do a git commit here of saying find and replace is built out for pulling values from inputs and pulling values from inputs and what else? And formatting array of strings. Okay. I mean, go ahead. Yeah, ask me whatever. I can't guarantee I'll answer, depending on what the question is, but I will if it is a reasonable question. Okay. So we didn't quite finish it today, but we've got our stuff. we've got access to the fields with a button, and we have access, if we check our console log here, we've got access to an array of all the words in our p tag so that we can replace them. So we're doing good. Yeah, go shoot for it. Okay. All right, that is it. I've got to head back to school. If you have that question, just drop it in chat. I'll see if I can get to it. But if not, thanks for watching, and I will, be around next time I stream. I don't know when that is, but thanks everyone for watching, and I appreciate everybody for hanging out. And I'll catch you guys next time I go live.